Hello all, this is Rich Checkan, President of Asset Strategies, and I'm here in the waning hours of the New Orleans Investment Conference with none other than Rick Rule, co-founder of Battle Bank. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. If it's okay, I know everybody's been picking your brain all week long here in New Orleans. I want to pick a little bit more. We've been undergoing kind of a pullback in the metals market. You know, gold and silver have come back over the past 3 weeks. Some of us think insignificantly, others think very significantly. Just want to kind of get your thoughts on the pullback in the metals and where do you think it's going from here?
Well, you know, Rich, you've been in the business a long time. When people look at the pullback and they say, you know, gold's fallen by 7% or whatever, I said, really? Depends on your perspective. Gold's up 100% in 18 months and it's down by 7, so is it up 100 or is it down 7? I think that depends on your perspective. If people are unnerved by a 7% pullback, they better do something else with their money. This is my fourth gold bull market, and we will experience a 20 or 25% drawdown. So if 7% gives you trauma, you should find some other asset class, I think. For myself, and I segregate between gold and gold stocks. I assume we'll get to gold stocks later.
Yeah, for sure.
My gold isn't for sale. It's likely for me that my sale decision will be made by my estate, and I accumulate a little more whenever I have surplus cash. Given that it's not for sale, lower prices are for me a good thing because I'm a buyer, not a seller. I realize that my perspective is different than other people, but direct answer to your question, a 7% decline isn't even static, much less music.
Well put. So as gold physicals pull back, we're also seeing a bit of a pullback in the mining shares, which this year for the first year has really outpaced bullion massively. So just kind of your thoughts then as well, and I know this is kind of a love for yours. This is where you cut your teeth and so forth. We'll comment on that run in mining shares or resource stocks in general. Their pullback and the meaning of that reaction, and where do you see them going?
Well, the run was late in coming, which frustrated a lot of folks.
For sure.
That's easy to explain. 2024, when gold started running, or 2022, I'm sorry, it was running because central banks were buying. And central banks don't buy stocks. True. So the asset classes
or silver.
Asset classes had a buyer went up, and the one that didn't. No big mystery there. And the gold stocks didn't really move till 2024, when the gold price increase began to reflect itself in margins. That bull market, the gold equities market, is really truly underway. Gold stocks magnify gold's move in both directions. So gold's off 7, the GDX is off 15, 16, the GDXJ is off 25. That's what you'd figure. You need to decide for yourself where you think gold stocks are going over the next 5 years or 10 years. If you think they're flat, then this perturbation is problematic. If you think they're going up, then this perturbation is an opportunity.
Gotcha.
It's interesting. Rich, and you've seen this now. You've been in the business a long time, whether you admit it or not.
Making me feel really old right now.
Well,
thank you.
You know, whether you admit it or not, wisdom comes with longevity, right?
Sure. We hope so.
Equities generally are interesting. When people shop for consumer goods, they're price sensitive. You want stuff on sale, lower. But financial goods are the only ones where their desirability to consumer goods seems to go up as they get more expensive.
Yeah.
And I think people need to examine themselves in
point.
that regard. I think to the extent that you like the asset class, that you should welcome sell-offs on the buy side. And the other thing that happens, the flip side of that, is people become strangely reticent to sell when their financial objectives have been met. If somebody says the stock is going to $3, it goes there, then they won't sell it because they think it might go to $4.
Yeah. Emotion. It doesn't make a lot of money, does
Yep.
it?
Right.
So, now, all good points. I've heard that before. I think probably from you that, investors are reluctant to buy something when it's on sale.
Right.
And it is on sale right now. I care. I have an affinity for gold and
Right.
silver and platinum, palladium, but there's a lot more out there in the commodity space. Just kind of want to pick your brain. What else do you love out there right now, and why?
As you know, I like hate.
True.
Quote Wayne Gretzky, I skate to hate. and I like good businesses.
Yeah.
So the good business that I understand in resources is oil and gas right now. I think the oil price probably goes lower.
Yeah.
So does the whole world, which means the oil stocks are being sold off. But they are pretty hated.
Yeah.
And it's a really good business. It's a business I grew up in. It's a business I was in before mining.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty aggressive buying the oil and gas equities. And I expect I'm going to look stupid for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. That's pretty easy for me to do. But I have a difficult time not believing that I'm going to hit a long ball, low risk home run over the 5-year time frame.
Just kind of a follow-up there. Do you have any specific sector in oil and gas that you like?
You know what? I mean, talking to most people, don't get fancy. The best oil company in the planet in terms of return on capital employed, recycle ratio, any efficiency metric in the oil and gas business is ExxonMobil. If you're early, it's okay because they pay a 3.7% dividend. So your time value of money objection is accommodated for by the
You get
dividend.
paid to be wrong.
Yeah. I believe Exxon is selling at about 60% of my estimate of net present value. And my estimate of its net present value doubles or triples over 5 years. So you're buying a double or triple in the finest company on the planet in its business with a 3.7% yield, and you're buying at a 60% discount. It's a pretty good trade.
Sounds pretty good when you put it that way.
Yeah.
Let's stay on that subject of some of the best businesses in the industry. This thing on your shirt, what does that say? Battle Bank.
Bank.
I understand October 10th was an incredible day for Battle Bank.
Yeah, we became bankers on
Yes.
that day. You know, you've thank you for your patience. We've been trying to become a banker at the discretion of the regulators, if that's the right phrase, for in excess of 4 years.
Gotcha.
And we finally got smart. As opposed to being a de novo applicant, we decided to buy a bank. And so we are now in the banking business. I'm delighted to say we had a directors meeting last Monday, and I was trying to figure out why I was having so much fun. And I found that in the directors meetings, we were talking about loan approvals and duration risk and how we can better serve different aspects of the community that's had faith in us.
As opposed to working with regulators.
As opposed to how we got to become bankers. Stuff like that.
Nice, nice.
So yeah, it's lovely.
So real quick from here, I know you're not opening the doors and everybody's buying in right now. What's the process real quick for folks listening?
Well, Rich, we're shaking in our systems with our own money.
Okay.
You know, the Rick Rule account. If I write a check, does it cash? Do I get my interest payment?
You are the guinea pigs.
Yeah, I'm one of the guinea pigs. Buy some gold. When I buy it, do I get it? Take out a loan. I don't need a loan on my gold. I just want to see it works.
Gotcha.
So we're shaking into systems with our own money.
Okay.
And then we will open up the bank sometime late December, early January for our shareholders. There's 300 and something shareholders.
Fantastic.
So we'll shake it in with our shareholders. And then we hope to open the bank to the wait list early mid-January.
Fantastic. I know there's a lot of people at this conference and all over the country, probably all over the world, that have been waiting for that day to happen. And congratulations, and we wish you only the best with that endeavor. Go ahead.
We're gratified by the support we've got from this community.
Yeah.
Many people remember Everbank, or if they don't, they remember Sprott, my former endeavor. And I'm delighted to say when this management team opened Everbank in 1999, the day they opened, their customer backlog was 0, and our customer backlog exceeds 19,000 people now. So I think the first year is going to be a pretty good year.
I think so too. I will tell you, a lot of people have asked me about Everbank, or not Everbank, Battle Bank, and I say that because when Frank reached out to us and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm coming out of retirement. We're going to get back in the banking business. Me and Rick are going to start a bank." And we said, "Well, what is that going to look like?" He said, "It's going to look a lot like Everbank, but better," right? And so I always make that pivot. But I tell him I don't know a better person in the banking industry than Frank Trotter.
That's correct.
And I don't know a better person when it comes to entrepreneurial endeavors than you. And I think that's a pretty powerful combination.
Frank and I fit together pretty well. We've known each other about 40 years.
Yeah.
We finish each other's sentences. That's polite. We interrupt each other is what that means. Frank's a country banker that went big.
Yeah.
He's a banker who still believes in people. He believes in employees. He believes in his customers, which is wonderful. I'm a pretty good investor. and I have been involved in lending for a very long time. I'm old enough that I know how to say no,
Yeah. It's important.
which is good. And as an entrepreneur, I am pretty good at identifying a need in the market and trying to figure out a way that I can serve it. The community around Battle Bank is a community of self-actualized individual investors, and it's a community that's interested in precious metals.
Yes.
Now, just so happens that's a community I've served for 50 years, and I feel blessed that in conjunction with Frank and with the support of community members like yourself, that we will have access to that community and a way to serve them. I can't imagine a better place to be an entrepreneur than in a market that I've served for 50 years when many of the potential customers I already know.
Yeah, that's a nice place to be. Help your friends out, right? One last thing before, I know you're a busy man, I want to let you go, but apparently you do this conference every year that we participate in and that we absolutely love to death in Boca Raton. You going to do that again next year?
Yes, sir. I mean, let me brag on my exhibitors like Asset Strategies International.
Thank you.
There's two ways that you can be an exhibitor at my conference. If you're a public company, you have to be owned in my accounts. Sadly, there's no guarantee that because I own them it goes up, but it is a guarantee that anybody that you see on my exhibit floor I know well enough that I've risked my own money and my reputation at.
Fair
Most conferences, the qualification to be an exhibitor is a pulse and a check that cashes, reverse order of importance. If you're a service provider, if you're a bullion dealer as an example, I cannot have heard one customer complaint about you during 40 years experience serving customers, which is a pretty exacting
That is.
standard. So, you know that there's a few bullion dealers in the world. One of them disgraced my floor a few years ago, that have had a bad history with regards to customer complaints. And I allow those people to exhibit at other people's conferences.
Understood. I will tell, it's kind of like the Geico approach, right? World Gold Council did a survey, right? And they asked these investors at random, do you believe you ought to have gold in your portfolio, right? And like 80% of them came back and said yes, 80%. And then they went back and they said, well, how many of you do? It's only like 25% of that 80%.
Yeah.
So then they went and asked that 75% that didn't have it in their portfolio, why don't you? And two reasons came out. They can't trust gold dealers.
Right.
And unfortunately, that is an earned reputation in our industry.
Yep.
There are a lot of scoundrels,
Yep.
let's
Yep.
face it.
Yep.
And two, they don't know how to get started.
Right.
So we have a reputational and educational issue, and you've been helping us fight both of those, and we thank you for that.
Rich, that's going to take care of itself. It really, truly is going to take care of itself. There's a younger generation that I'm delighted to say is smarter and better than I was.
I hope so.
There's access to information via things like social media, so that many of the questions that couldn't get answered in the 60s and 70s and even 80s can be answered now. The barriers to entry are much lower because you can get the answer online.
Yep.
When I was coming up, the information you got about a coin dealer came from the coin dealer, and that was maybe a questionable source of information.
Possibly. might have been skewed in one direction or another. So, well, Rick, I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and sitting down with us, sharing your thoughts with our listeners. And,
Pleasure.
Thank you, as always.
Been a delight.